I'm Lisa.
I'm Oscar.
And I'm Layla.
Welcome to Creative Kids Visual Arts. You know, when I was little and somebody said the word artist, I just imagined a painter. Didn't you? But now I realise that anybody in a creative job can be called an artist, and the painter is actually a visual artist.
A visual artist is anybody who creates art for people to come and see it or interact with it.
Visual art really means painting, drawing, print, sculpture, and photography.
But so many artists mix and match their mediums, it's really hard to classify a piece of artwork as being just purely visual. So let's not even worry about it, because if you like to make art, whatever it may be, then this episode is for you. Guys, what's in this ep?
We will be talking about why the art world is so exciting and who is here to help you.
How to get your work out there and design and create your first exhibition.
Plus hear from industry leaders with lots more useful information.
Wow, we have really jam-packed this episode with everything you need to get started. So, let's go.
What do you love about street art?
I love the colours of street art. I love the self-expression of it, where there's no rules, you can paint whatever you want. The diversity within that, you have your traditional graffiti writers, which is a letter-based form of street art, you could say, or you have mural type art where it's more based on figures and shapes. And street art can also be the whole stenciling culture, wheat paste. There's all different areas of street art.
If you are making art right now, that makes you a contemporary artist. Sounds pretty cool, doesn't it? I know. Well, you should be proud, because it means that you have now learned from your teachers, become inspired by your predecessors, and by that we mean the artists that have come before you. And now, basically, it's your time to shine. It's your time to be pushing the boundaries of where art and imagination has been before.
So, what kind of artist would you like to be, and what kind of art would you like to create? There's no limit to what you can do.
Learn as many art skills as you can. You never know when that odd art class might just come in handy. Learning how to make some jewellery could just take your art to a whole new dimension.
Many visual artists use a mixture of art mediums such as craft, performance, mixed media, and installation to present their work.
As contemporary artists, you should be using whatever techniques you can to help tell the story of your art. The ways in which art can be made are endless.
You have so many tools and materials to use, but they're not just limited to what's found inside your classroom. Yes, you have your paintbrushes and your acrylic paints, but look outside the box in the classroom. What can you find outside to inspire you? There's nature, technology, and even industrialism.
I tell you what, if your job is to make and create contemporary art, you're going to have so much fun.
So I began photography when I was very young. I think I got my first camera from my dad, and it was a little point and shoot film camera, Ricoh. So that was when I was about 5, and from then on I went through primary school into high school and focused on the visual arts, and then changed high schools in order to pursue photography in particular, and went and studied at uni from there. So I was pretty lucky because I knew what I wanted to do. Yeah, I chose photography rather than film because I thought there was something special about capturing an image, capturing that frame. And it requires a lot of skill. I think both requires skill, but I felt I was just drawn more towards the still image. So in order to get started with photography, I'd recommend just picking up a camera, just shooting as much as you can. Shoot your friends. If you're interested in fashion, you might have another friend that's interested in fashion design, and you can get them all on board. It's all about teams, so just be resourceful. Do a lot of shooting and shoot different things as well. Shoot, your friends or landscapes or food if you're interested in that. Interiors. So my top 3 tips would be to really immerse yourself in the visual arts, surround yourself with different mediums, magazines, watch the TV. watch what's going on around you because you could find inspiration everywhere. Different galleries as well, exhibitions. Tip number 2 would be to save your money because you'll want to invest in cameras and equipment. Tip number 3 would be probably networking. Just get to know as many people as you can because you never know how they can help you later on. They might have a location you want to shoot at, or they might, you might want to collaborate with them later on. Yeah, so really be outgoing and be a people person.
It's a very exciting time to be a visual artist with all the new technology being invented.
What technologies can you imagine in the future that you can incorporate into your art and your exhibitions?
Well, I have this idea for an installation where all the senses can get involved. So I don't want my audience to just see the work. I also want them to feel it, taste it. And what about using a sensor hologram? Is that invented yet? If not, I could always practice some DIY, which is do it yourself on a smaller scale to create a similar result.
Gosh, why not just go all out like Leonardo da Vinci and design your own inventions? Did you know he created the parachute and the machine gun? Of course, his inventions were never really made because no one would cover the cost because they didn't believe they would work.
Did you also know in recent years people have tested his original sketches and they actually worked?
The power of our brains is limitless. We should be putting our creative minds to good use through art. Art can save the world.
Let your mind wander while listening to your teacher, of course, and imagine what you can create now and in the future.
At Darling Harbour, we have the Merchant Store, which is a beautiful work by Leandro Ehrlich, who's an Argentinian artist. And what he's done is to create a replica of one of Sydney's iconic buildings, the Merchant Store, in the rocks. And he's created it on the ground with a mirror at 45-degree angle so that people can hang from the windowsills and from, all of the different sections of the building. So there's been an awful lot of selfies, more than 40,000 selfies going on here.
That's amazing.
Leandro is a visual artist,
right?
But he works quite sculpturally, as you can see, and he also works with interactivity, but it's old-fashioned DIY. It's old-fashioned analog interactivity in that people actually have to come and participate. And so it's very performative, and people have really been loving that. So yes, I think that a lot of art forms are working, across art forms really, and in kind of hybrid ways that are exciting. And it's not so much about whether something's visual arts or performing arts, or a lot of people are working across and between those boundaries, and they don't make a lot of sense to a lot of people anymore. So it's really fantastic. I mean, it's great to have training in a particular art form, but then it's also great to be affected by popular culture and the ways that people want to engage.
Visual art is found everywhere. You probably can't even open your eyes without seeing some sort of art. Advertising, books, hanging on our walls, in city streets, it's on our clothing. It's just everywhere.
Yeah, and so no wonder there's so many avenues you can go down to actually get into the arts. So let's take a look at how you can cross over from doing art as a hobby to making it your professional career. Here's a few ideas. Be commissioned to create work for other people. This is where people hire you to create and make something for them, like maybe paint a portrait of them, create a sculpture, or make a print for a t-shirt.
We have a jeweller out the back who he says this is his cube here. He'll say that if you have a ring that doesn't suit you anymore, or you don't like the style or the shape, he can model one and start from scratch with a wax master, or if you've got a stone that you've inherited from your grandmother, and build something with you. So there's that type of commission. Or some people sometimes order in bulk, so they see one thing that they really like and they want to give it to their whole corporate group, so they'll order 20 of that one thing for their business Christmas
And that'll keep you busy.
Yeah.
Reproducing.
This piece is a commission piece. I'll take covers off. Some people wanted like a portrait of their dog, because their dog's getting quite old and won't be around for much longer, so they wanted something of the dog they could keep forever and look at the sculpture and remember the dog. So I got them to take a whole lot of pictures of the dog, all different angles of the dog. I'll probably play with a few different finishes to try and get the right surface to give the impression of, get it as close as I can to the actual dog.
Yeah.
Mm.
Link up with book publishers to create the artwork for books. Send in a pitch of your work, or find a friend who likes to write and you could do the artwork for them, or do as Gray and Base has done, is do the artwork and then write your own books.
What came first for you? Was it illustrating or writing?
Oh, definitely the illustrating. In fact, I never wanted to be a writer. That sort of happened almost by accident. When I was a kid, for me it was always art. I was the kid who was always drawing in the sort of margins of the maths book and getting into trouble. But by the time I was about 11, if anyone asked me, what are you going to do when you grow up, I said I was going to be an artist, not an author. But what happened was that I started doing illustrations for other people's stories, and I realised that I was going to have a lot more fun or a lot more control over what I illustrated if I also wrote the stories.
Young artists pitch their work to publishers and authors.
I mean, what I do is both, which it kind of, in a way, it makes it easy for a publisher, because they can go, okay, there's the text, there's the artwork, they match, it's all good, we can go ahead and sort of publish this. But the other thing that publishers do is they match a text with an illustrator, and they have lots of illustrators who will bring in their folios of work, and they will, have that on file, and then when the text comes in, they'll go, oh yeah, that person would be good as an illustrator for this, to put them together. Sometimes it happens away from the publisher, where an author and an illustrator or an artist get to know each other and they decide to collaborate on a project. So there's a fair few ways of doing it. But you shouldn't be put off by, for instance, not having a text. If you're an illustrator, just illustrate, what's in your mind. The things which interest you, which you are driven to create, to show other people, and that will come across. So give that to a publisher, they'll go, all right, yeah, we'll keep this on file and we'll let you know if something comes through. But at the same time, as I said earlier, I never meant to be an author at all. I only thought I was going to be an illustrator or an artist. And I had a go. I had a go at writing to match my images, and it kind of worked out. So maybe, lots of people who are creative in one area, music, often can apply that kind of mind to another area. So have a go at doing both.
Be a pro street artist. By this we don't mean tagging, which is not art at all.
I always tell young kids to find a positive role model that might hand down their experience with street art or painting. It's a lot easier to learn from someone than try and go and figure it out yourself. You might shave off 10 years if someone hands down their experience and teaches you the little things that you might learn along the way. Always draw, like a lot of sketching. It's very hard to just paint on walls, or it's always good to find a space, maybe like a permission wall that you might can go every weekend and paint, or somewhere where you're not going to get into trouble, and you can focus your energy on creating something really good and bettering yourself.
Displaying galleries. People are able to buy the art directly from them.
Usually what we suggest is if they could send us an email and with their CV and an artist statement to sort of explain what their artwork's about and what concepts behind them, and also a sample of a few of their artworks so we can see it. And then there's a few people connected to the gallery that look at it and we discuss it and see if it fits into our art space, because different galleries look for different things, or demographics could be different.
Create public installations. It's amazing how some people will go and see public installations that wouldn't actually go inside normal galleries.
I think with kids it's really fantastic to just have a go at stuff and not to think that something has to be shiny or glossy. It's actually about crafting something that makes sense and that is going to be playful. I think that the important thing is to play and to experiment and to try things. And of course, so many kids are very intuitive with new technologies and are playing with animations, and all sorts of digital technologies. And so it is about playing and experimenting, and then it's also about finding out what other people have done. So that in terms of the Sydney Festival, one of the things that we look for in new work is actually looking for something that's distinctive, that's idiosyncratic, that hasn't been done a million times.
Multimedia and designing online like websites and animations.
Be a designer. Use your visual art skills to make crafts or fashion and sell them in market stores or fashion boutiques.
Wherever you are displaying your artwork, whether it be at your first exhibition, a marketplace or an online store, your work needs to tell a story. So each piece needs to be harmonious with the next so that when someone does buy a piece of your work, they can appreciate the piece they do take home.
My number one tip is make sure that you just start making art. It doesn't matter what you're making, what you do, just start making art. And once you start, just keep going and don't give up. Because a lot of the time when you do put the proposals through and you put all this effort in, you might not always get accepted the first time, and you just have to keep going.
And you've also just got to keep making work. Whatever you've made, make more, because you're not going to go wrong doing that. You're just going to have to keep developing your practice. Don't sort of make one thing and think, oh, this is fantastic. If everyone loves this, I'll do more. Make more now.
So let's take a look at how to stage your first exhibition as professionally as Tara and Moana.
To begin, ask yourself a few questions. Who am I making my art for? What's the meaning and story behind my work? What techniques will I use to create my work? Where will I exhibit my work?
You need to know who will want to come and see your work and hopefully have it hanging on their wall.
Don't be shy to think big. One small idea could become your first exhibition. Your only limit is your imagination.
Choosing a space to display your art can be super exciting, and designing that space on its own can be a work of art. Choose the kind of space that suits the art that you want to display. For example, if you are a photographer, you might like a funky cafe art gallery to display your work. Or if you create art that is a bit larger than life, why not consider an outdoor public space and installation? This actually encourages people to interact with art who wouldn't usually step inside a gallery.
Research the space, check out their website, and send them a sample of your work to see if it suits them.
If you have found the perfect venue, but to fill it, you need more pieces of art than you already have. Why not try collaborating like Tara and Moana?
Well, a benefit of collaborating is that sometimes we don't have strengths ourselves, so we can always work off a partner to kind of build our art practice. So, for example, I'm from a street art background and Moana is a drawer and a printmaker. So when we work together, we draw on each other's skills to kind of build up our artwork and also find resources.
It also helps share the load of the work, and we're able to fill larger spaces without as much stress or pressure when we're making the work.
It used to be that artists would sell their work through commissioning and art galleries, but now, as you can see, times have changed and it's up to you to promote your own work.
I'm sure you've all heard of social networking. Good, because this is the fastest and the easiest way to build an audience and get some fans from all over the world. Make sure you are reviewing other people's work and also like and share their posts, because this will help increase your followers, as long as tell people about what exhibitions you have coming up and just basically share your artistic journey.
Social networking is huge, so have a Facebook page. But the very first thing you need to do is check if somebody else is already using that business name. I've seen a lot of people get into trouble and start something huge, get 5,000 followers, and then get the legal letter saying, I've trademarked that name, can you please stop using it? So go to IP Australia, make sure that it hasn't been used, that name that you want to register or start your Facebook page.
That's great advice.
And then start just cross-pollination, chat to other people, other business owners, other people that make stuff, swap links, reciprocal links. And the more you can mix it up and share information, social networking for us is the key. We've got 5,000 followers on Facebook and we share information and sell a lot through our Facebook page as well.
Right, so earlier Izzy was telling me about you've got to have some really cool hashtags and things going on. Can you give us any tips of what we should be putting in our work so people can find it and look at it?
If you use Instagram, use the word, if you're a jeweler, use jewellery. Make sure you use our spelling as well as the American spelling. Just whatever are the top keyword searches, the words love, me, like, follow, all that kind of stuff. Hashtagging is huge at the moment because it takes you directly back to whatever it is that you're into or you're making. And also, if you're selling on Etsy or any of the online stores, then using keywords. So if it's a ruby in your ring, write red, write ruby, write silver. Really itemize everything and do it under keyword searches. So when people Google specific words, then your picture will come up in the search.
Use all the social networks you can, like Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, Tumblr, Flickr, and DeviantArt. This way you can get people who have similar interests to you to like your work and view it and share it with others.
This is a really great way to be using social media instead of wasting your time online. But don't forget, some websites do have age restrictions, so you might have to buddy up with an adult to help set up some sites and basically keep safe online. Who is there to help? What resources are available for visual artists?
Well, there are many organisations in Australia who help support emerging artists.
Community centres have classes that can be free or affordable, and in these classes you can find things like jewellery making or metal casting.
If you're looking to research the work of other artists, head to places like ACME or National and State Galleries, and also arts festivals.
Schools have nurturing art programs where you can safely build your skills by making mistakes and having guidance.
Yeah, and if you want to go to places like VCA to continue your education, they're absolute havens for artistic people in all different fields.
Places like NAVA can provide information and help you take your art around the world.
I think the best thing that NAVA can do for kids is really kind of, if they're looking into getting into the arts, we can kind of take that through with them and map out some processes in terms of education and getting their work out there. For high school students, a great way is through some art school programs that are designed for senior high school students. So it's a program that is done in conjunction with their visual arts subjects.
Okay.
So usually that happens in year 11 or year 12, and it happens in the holiday period.
Right.
So through that, they'll be in that kind of art school environment, and they'll be being taught by professional artists.
Oh, wow. That's a pretty great opportunity.
Yeah, totally. A lot of community centres will run courses for both primary school kids and high school kids. Yeah, I think the best way for primary school kids would be to start researching with their parents a number of courses that are run out of community centres. And the best place to find that out would be through your local council.
Cool.
Okay, so we've had a look at how we can make your art work for you. Now let's get serious and think about the challenges you may face. How hard is it going to be?
And what's some advice to encourage you anyway?
That's right. I mean, at some point, someone's going to say to you,
oh, you're going to be an artist. Well, you know, that's not a very good career choice. It's not very stable. How exactly do you intend to be successful?
And when they do, here's what you can say.
When do I begin my career?
Well, the answer to that is now. You've got to go and find your first exhibition space, take that really cool workshop or specialty class, and create your online presence, and you've got to do it all now.
That's right. You're ready. Just do it. Even if you're starting out small, just do it. Even if you have a couple of pieces of art or a few ideas, team up with fellow artists, classmates, collaborate and support each other, and just do it.
Yeah, like Michelangelo. You know who he is, right?
Oh, yeah.
No, not the Ninja Turtle, the painter. He began painting the Sistine Chapel at age 33, and that was by no means his first project. Before that, he was a famous sculptor.
Yeah, like he didn't wait till he finished his university degree or wait for someone to tell him that he was good enough already. No, he started young, and so can you. So go and get your work out there now.
Push boundaries and believe in yourself.
Head to the Kids Corner of Far Out Films website for a list of useful links to help you guide through the next steps.
We hope you feel more confident and inspired. And remember, you don't have to do a boring job. You can be a successful visual artist now. We can't wait to see your work up in lights. Bye!